Oh, we got two viewers. Alright, so we are here to have our discussion about modern spirituality. I want to thank everybody for joining this live. I got Nye the Guy here with me.
So.
If you can hear him. This is not exactly how I planned on doing this. But turns out the software that I was using, the camera just doesn't comply with it. So we've just been kind of working around that, and that's okay. I've just been learning to live with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the video, where you guys are, so that I can chat with you guys while we're going through this. I actually just want to see what you guys are seeing, because I'm not quite sure what this looks like to you guys. Wish I had two computers. At first I was trying to do this through my sister's iPhone, but it told me that my account did not qualify to use that. So that's completely fine. I'm cool with that. Whatever. I'm just gonna keep chugging along, and hopefully with time I'll be able to afford.
I had two computers. At first, I was trying to do this through
the better equipment.
I was trying to do this through my sister's iPhone.
That's really cool. Alright then, so I can totally see what you guys are seeing. Great. I'm trying to put something aesthetic up for you. I guess I'll just get to the talking. And, at the end the floor will be open for comments and discussion, and we can just go back and forth and really just get down to the skinny of it. So tonight's subject is on modern spirituality, a constant evolution. And I first wanted to get into the subject by talking about the birth of religion and where it all came from, because a lot of people, we jump into these belief systems and wholeheartedly and trustingly without really knowing the basis of where it all comes from. Why is the reason that it is here and so prevalent amongst the things that, amongst life, period, amongst our culture. And really, it all comes down to ancient times, something called sun worship. There was always the worship of something, since the beginning of time. And the ancient people saw the sun as a source of life, an actual source of light, because they didn't have any light back then. And, a lot of them viewed the earth as the mother, the sun as the father, the moon as the child. It goes hand in hand. That is kind of like the beginning of the whole, Holy Trinity, The Holy Trinity really is based on the earth, the moon, and the sun. So later on, that evolved into Saturnalia, which is the worship of Saturn. And it's basically kind of the same principles, but shifted on to with Saturn as the focus. And then, eventually that goes into the Kemetan religion. Now, I call it a religion because I realize that white anthropologists call it mythology. But if it's someone's belief system, it is religion. It is not mythology. They don't call Christians, or they don't call Christianity mythology, the mythology of Christianity. No, because it's their belief system. It's the popular thing. So I think we should respect other beliefs as much as we want ours to be respected. And I know that there's people who do still follow the Kemetan beliefs, with the Egyptian goddesses and gods, Osiris, and all that. So I'm going to call it the Kemetan religion because it is a belief system. It's not just stories. So, that is kind of like the first instinct of having human-like personas attached to things of worship. At first it was very nature centered. So, oh my God, I could take this outside. So it's very nature. I may just keep streaming like this because I'm kind of liking it. I did my makeup and everything for these. I did my makeup. Please wait. I did my makeup for you guys. And maybe I should go live on Instagram while I'm doing this or something. Who knows? But I'm just gonna keep talking. This is kind of like a podcast, and I'm liking the way this feels. I'm really liking the way this feels. But yeah, we were at Kemet. So you got your Egyptian gods, right? And we can go through each Egyptian god. That's gonna take a while because then I'd have to go through all the gods. All right. But that developed into Roman. I was gonna say, oh my god, I was gonna say Roman mythology, but that would have been contradicting the statement that I just said about not calling other belief systems mythology. So I guess the Roman gods, their religion, with Pluto and all those. And then of course that switches on into Greek. So it went from actually, was it Greek mythology first or was it Roman? The Roman Empire succeeded the Greek Empire, right? Like, lasted longer. I'm pretty sure the Romans lasted longer, so I think that's... Greece is... I know that Greece is still here, but I'm saying... Oh, yeah, Greece is still here. Romans not. So I believe that Roman mythology, or the Roman belief system, was first with Pluto and, like, stuff like that. Orpheus and all that. But then you have Zeus and stuff, and that's Greek mythology. But it's basically the same. It's literally the same, just with different names. The same stories as Kemetan Egyptian belief system, but different characters. Different characters, same story. And then you see that with the Roman Empire coming into power and Christianity era blossoming through that. And that's how you get the whole Jesus story and Christianity, and the same thing with Islam and Hinduism. Hinduism has many gods, and it's very similar to Kemetan religions, and also the Greek and the Roman. So it all is connected, and it all is the same thing. People act like these religions are so different, but really it's all about morals. It's all about what happens after death. It's all about the meaning of life, but through different stories and different characters. And it's all telling the same story. Because even you can find the Jesus story in Kemetan Egyptian quote-unquote mythology. The story of Osiris and Isis and their son is basically Jesus. Same exact story. He even died and rose. Like, same thing. It's the same thing. So, on that note, now that we've gotten through the basically the birth of religion, like where it came from and what it led to, let's talk about religion as a birthright. The power of choice. We are born into our belief systems. Yes, Nye? Why are you looking at me like that? We are born into our belief systems, okay? And rarely do we question the systems that we are born into. But when I was born, I was constantly questioning everything. So it was, I don't know. When you start looking at things, like for me, just looking at other religions and like Buddhism, and like according to Christianity, it says that those people are going to hell because they're not Christians, because they don't believe in Jesus. And part of me felt kind of wrong and arrogant for saying that, because it's like, who are we to choose what religion is the right religion? What belief system is the one that is going to be sticking even after death? Is there an after death? And it just goes down and down from that. And I realized that we have been living blindly through our lives, going through these traditions and routines, and just because it is what we're supposed to do, is what we were taught to do, not even looking down into the depths of what we're involving ourselves in. For instance, Christianity, actually most religions were used to just control people. So, the Romans wanted to control their people, so they in order to get the Greeks to feel more comfortable with them, they kind of adapted their religious beliefs onto themselves, and that's how you got that the Roman mythology. And then you got Catholicism, because they were trying to make a religion. They're trying to make a religion that is more similar to to the mythology that people were used to the multiple gods, you know. So, are you guys about to go get elevated? Oh, okay. Um, so, oh my god, you guys distracted me. What did I just say? Damn it. Either way, like, gods. Yes, Catholicism. So the whole reason why Catholicism has all these saints and gods and, well, not gods, but they have multiple people that you pray to, and always, they are seen as God. I see them as having multiple gods. It's very much like Hinduism. Um, and paganism, to just pray to multiple deities, which I thought was very confusing, because when I was a kid, I remember there was a Bible verse that had said you're not supposed to pray to multiple deities, you're only just supposed to pray to one God. But in Catholicism, which counts itself as a branch of Christianity, actively prays to multiple deities all the time. So for me, as a kid, it was like, well, where is the line? Where is the line that divides these religions that make them different from each other? Because to me, it doesn't exist. And on that note, we're going to go on to the next talking point, which is belief system bouncing. Now, our country has really been ran by oppression, and Christianity has been used to reinforce that oppression for generations, starting with the slaves, with how our belief systems were stripped from our ancestors. Whatever religion, or like whether our ancestors were doing Yoruba rituals or anything like that, all that knowledge was stripped from them. They were forbidden to practice their homeland religions. And that was replaced with Christianity. And with Christianity came justification for slavery. With Christianity came justification for the cruelties of capitalism. With Christianity came justification for white supremacy. And we passed that knowledge and misinformation down through generation after generation after generation. And now we've gotten to a point where people are waking up and they are realizing the source of where their beliefs come from, and they're not comfortable with it. It doesn't sit right that you've just been believing something that your slave master told your ancestors 400 years ago. It's just not enough, you know? And now you have these new generation of spiritualists, I would say, and they're going through this phase of belief system bouncing, is what I like to call it. We are so lost and pining so hard to be able to know ourselves and know our ancestry and to be involved in like what is really our culture, that we bounce back and forth into belief systems that we may not even really know much about or have a misunderstanding about. I see a lot of people now practicing Yoruba or Wiccanry or paganism, as well as what else? The New Age, basically the whole New Age spiritualist thing, you know, which is a combination of different belief systems. Because I see Hinduism in it, I see a lot in it, but it's cool for people to let go of something that was oppressing them. But where I bring the question in is when you're jumping right into another belief system that you're also not that knowledgeable on, but you're still putting your full heart and you're blindly believing it, you know? Huh? Small Ruby? Roxanne. So, we we want to know ourselves. And so we cling on to these other beliefs wholeheartedly, not even knowing the sources of what we're believing in. And we can read books about it, but it's like we weren't taught it from childbirth. And we can't read every book about it with your whole life. So it's like, why go into something wholeheartedly when you know that the last time you did, you were being lied to? The last time you went wholeheartedly into a belief system, you were being manipulated. So why fall into the same cycle that can allow you to get manipulated through another belief system? Just because it's not Christianity doesn't mean that it is the answer, doesn't mean that it is something that you should be blindly trusting. And now, with that, I want to go into what I believe in. I kind of want to check and see something. I want to go into what I believe in. I believe in everything, and I believe in nothing. And that may sound weird. And feel free to comment, with any questions or any statements that you'd like to add to this. But I feel like there is no valid or invalid belief that can be had about the afterlife or about energy, about spiritual, about the things that you feel going on within yourself, because that is up for you to decide. The way I believe in a higher power. I believe in this higher energy that is connecting us all. I do feel that we are connected, and I do feel energy. I feel energies. I feel the flow. I feel connected to the earth. There's obviously something more around us. But I don't believe that it is my job to say what it is. It is my job to actively progress through this reality to become the best version of myself and to help those also become the best versions of themselves. It is a constant evolution of self. That's what I believe in. Constant evolution of self to just become the best version of you. Because it can really go any way. As long as you keep, in mind why you're here, what you believe in, your morals, I think you're going to be okay. I still do my crystals. I have my elixirs that I make, potions and stuff. But I'm not taking this stone, this physical thing, and thinking that this thing is going to, by itself, help me achieve something. Help me achieve whatever meaning is attached to that stone. Like how they say amethyst is good for calming you down. I believe that we attach meaning to things, and through that meaning that we attach to things, that is how they become powerful. That is the magic. It is the meaning and the value that we give to things. Because innately, nothing has any meaning. Nothing has value. We have to give it that value. We have to give it the meaning. If I just pick up a random stone, I don't believe that it's just going to affect me. But if I attach an intention to a stone, a reminder that whenever I hold the stone, I'm going to take some deep breaths and I'm going to calm down. That's what I use the stones for. I don't really use them as I need this specific stone for this and this for that and this for that. It's more like I attach the meaning that I want to this stone, and this stone is a physical reminder, like a physical sigil of what I am trying to achieve and what I want to get done through this stone. And other things are just like medicinal medicine, like my elixir, my potion that I have. It's just like some olive oil, lavender. It's for healing and calming. And holy basil and chamomile, I've been accused a lot of times of witchcraft. Ever since I was in high school, and I really started becoming more gothic and wearing thick eyeliner and wearing black all the time. People would call me a witch, but I was actually very strongly Christian back then, wearing a crucifix and carrying a Bible. But I would still get accused of being a witch just based off of my appearance. And that that has, I think, also in turn made me feel insecure about saying my spiritual beliefs, because I know it doesn't match everyone else's. And even doesn't even match other people like in the new age spiritual movement. I would say that my beliefs don't quite match them, but I can still vibe and understand and participate. I strongly believe in the power of meditation and yoga and connecting to the earth. Like, I think those are very real things. When it starts to become, you should do this. Yes, exactly. Music supporter. I see you. When it starts becoming what you can't, people policing each other, people saying like, oh, it's wrong for you to believe this, it's wrong for you to, it's wrong for you to dress a certain way. That's when religion is dangerous, and it's so funny because people have all these judgments and all these assumptions for what religion is supposed to be and how their specific religion is supposed to be run and followed by other followers, when they're not even knowledgeable of the rules that they're upholding. These rules that they're upholding don't even go back into the original text. It's not even canon. You know, like how the whole, I remember in the church that I used to go to, you know, we were very poor, so we would grow out of our clothes a lot. And so skirts that would be cool last year wouldn't be cool the next year. And we would get criticized for our skirts being above our knees. And they would like basically call us like whores, you know, like they would treat us like we were promiscuous because of it. And you know, it's just like there's all these little rules that aren't really rules that are being held up by people who are followers of major belief systems. And it's only because they're getting spoon-fed propaganda. Like, where the whole no alcohol rule came from in Christianity, I have no idea. Because Jesus' first miracle was making wine. So that doesn't make sense to me. It's like, people are more focused on being more holier than thou and passing judgment so that they don't get judged, without even realizing that they're passing judgment on things that aren't even offenses to the belief system. And another thing with Christianity that makes me uncomfortable is the fact that it's the gay thing. Like, I am not uncomfortable by someone being gay. I'm not uncomfortable by a trans person. But when I go into a Christian setting and the topic of trans or gay comes up, it is not an accepting tone that is given out from these believers. You're not, God doesn't treat hate. He doesn't treat, and it's like, if you believe it's a sin, and you know that we all are guilty of sin, then why are you choosing to treat this sin differently from everyone else? It's discrimination, and I'm not down with that. Well, let me see what else he said. It's all about understanding each other and not pushing a narrative. Yes! Yes, it is. But most people do not want to listen to understand, and they'd rather be right than learn. Is disproportioned and just virtue signals. Exactly. Music supporter, you are on it. You're freaking on it. On it. Yes. It is about pushing a narrative. It's pushing this narrative of oppression and control through holiness and devout following. Like, if you're not in the status quo, then you're just not going to get accepted into heaven. And I've had people try to put things over my head, like, oh, well, you have this gift, you should be using it and you're just using it for personal pleasure or for personal gain, but you should be using it for the kingdom of God. And it's like, well, isn't this whole earth hit the kingdom of God, technically? So why can't I use it? Isn't the way I'm using it to help people, isn't that helping the kingdom? It's like people have their own ideas of how you're supposed to be a good Christian or a good human. But it's like, I feel like as long as you're not hurting anybody. Oh, how do I feel about cancel culture? Oh my god, yo, this is okay, I'm sorry, I got too excited, I may have got too loud. I know that this is a chat on modern spirituality. But you know what though? That whole group thing that comes with religion, I do see that when it comes to cancel culture sometimes. You know, it's like the whole pitchfork and torch thing, you know? Um I think that cancel culture is helpful sometimes. A lot of the times it is helpful to get people out. Like, it took decades for something to be done about R. Kelly, okay? And then finally he gets cultured. I mean, it took a fucking documentary, but, like, it happened. And then people like Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby, people who have been doing messed up things behind closed doors. I believe, yes, they deserve to be canceled. But on more recent timing, like, I do feel like some people aren't canceled for legitimate reasons. Yes, it's like Puritanism. It's just like, it's like the witch trials, basically. And speaking of, like, a most recent cancellation that I've seen that struck me, and it's a good example, I guess, for right now, is the Lana Del Rey. People are trying to cancel her, and Doja Cat. People are trying to cancel her. Now, I think oh my god, boy, you about to make me get a whole idea to make a video about this, because these happened back to back. Lana Del Rey basically posted about how she feels like feminism doesn't have a space for women that looks like her. And she wasn't talking about physically looks like her because she's white. She understands white privilege. She's talking about how she is more submissive. She sings about being abused in her songs. She sings about being passive in her relationships and letting the man have control. And people criticized her for that for years. And she also sings about, like, drugs and sex and, like, reckless living and toxic relationships. And she's been criticized for it. People say, like, oh, you set back women a whole 20 years. You just took us back to the 1920s. You know, you're idolizing misogyny. But in actuality, it is the woman's choice to choose how she empowers herself. And that's what Lana Del Rey is trying to get across. And she had mentioned that other artists like Ariana Grande, Doja Cat, Cardi B, Beyonce, they get praised and get supported for expressing themselves so strongly. But because she doesn't have that same type of expression, she just gets called sad girl music. And but basically, people switched it. The whole cancel culture switched it and said that she was being racist against women of color who were artists, and saying that she was saying that her music was classier than theirs because she's not naked all the time. She did say something about not being naked all the time, but it's like, it's true. Most of the popular female artists wear way less clothes. And Lana Del Rey, she's usually completely clothed. Like, she's not wearing leotards or crop tops or anything like that. She's usually just completely clothed. So I get what she's saying with that. And I feel that too, because as an artist, I have a fiance. I'm engaged to be married. So I'm not going to be posting anything sexual. And on my Instagram, I really don't post unless it's chest up, you know. And there's some full body pictures that I have, but you're not going to be able to see my full shape because, like, I don't want people to see me like that. I want them to focus on the art. But basically, people are saying that she's just being a racist white woman. That's what they summed that up to. But Doja Cat, on the other hand, actually did some racist shit, which is crazy because she's mixed. She's sitting here in group chats with KKK members, stripping for them, saying racist things, letting them say nigger, saying it with them, making racist jokes, literally, like, making it okay to be racist. And it's like, this was from, like, a few days ago, that she was in this chat with these, like, KKK members. Like, she actively talks to them. It's a joke to her. It's fun for her. And I was just like, holy shit, canceling someone should happen when they do something that completely changes how you perceive them in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, whoa, I just can't even look at you the same. Like how Sabrina Claudio says she doesn't like black women and that she doesn't hang out with us. So it's like, why am I listening to this woman's music so much when she wouldn't even, like, sit down and have a conversation with me? Because I used to listen to Sabrina Claudio every day, but hearing her comments of what she said about brown-skinned women like me is what pushed me to just stop listening. Because it's like, I can't stop thinking about how you perceive me and like other women that look like me. And I just think like there's just a limit to that. There's a limit. Like I feel like there's times where cancel culture definitely goes way too far. Can I use the internet? There's times where I feel like, the counseling is necessary. A lot of the times it is necessary, especially for people like Bad Baby and stuff like that. Like, people who are culturally appropriating. But I feel like sometimes it goes too far. It goes too far for people who are innocent, and it doesn't go far enough for the people who are truly heinously guilty. People like Jeffree Star and James Charles could just make an apology and it's fine. But it's like if you have enough money and it's like people, it's not even just money. You got money to have the lawyers and all, but it's like you have control over the people. These influencers have this religious-like following. It's almost like a cult following, Like, people won't believe anything bad. It's like hearing that your pastor did something bad when they hear that Jeffree Star said something, like, racist or also it's just the way that people were defending Bill Cosby. I felt like that was weird because it's like, for me, even as a woman who grew up on Bill Cosby since I was like a little girl, I was watching the Cosby Show, and as soon as I found out that he was drugging women, I didn't question it because it was overwhelming evidence, and I read the individual stories of most of these women, and it was too specific to be fake and too painful and dark for me to even question that it was. Like, think about this. Like, you're sitting here waiting for the opportunity of your life, and you finally get it to an audition with Bill Cosby. He tells you to drink something, and then you wake up with his naked, sweating body on top of you. That is freaking traumatizing. So, yeah, I feel like cancel culture may go too far, but it has its attributes of religion in it. Should you be canceled for having a bad opinion? Is your opinion racist? It depends. It depends on what the opinion is. Like, it's like, oh, I had an opinion that all the Jews should die. Should I be making money now off of that? It's like your opinion is like your brand. Like, when you're a brand and you're in the forefront, you gotta realize that, like, what you say and do matters because you have influence over people, and those people will follow suit. So if they think that something is okay because you're doing it, then it just makes it okay. What's his name? Jeffree Star saying the N-word, and is whenever he's mad at a black person, calls them a gorilla or a monkey, and touching men without their permission. That may be his opinion to be that way. It may be his opinion to feel like he can say that. It may be his opinion to feel like he can do that. But it's wrong. And it encourages other people that this behavior is correct and that it's okay when it's not. And that, it's a very thin line. It's a very thin line. It's a range. You just can't. It's not so crystal clear. It's not like a black and white thing. It's definitely super gray. I just feel like people don't take into consideration how our belief systems affect our culture, and the way we communicate, and what we involve our lives in for our entire lives. Even to the little things, alright, the Sabbath, right? The Sabbath has been this huge debate in religion. It's the age-old debate. What day is the actual Sabbath? Is it on Sunday? Is it on Saturday? Well, it only recently started being on Sunday because there was sun worship. That's the whole source of it all. But Saturday, in some religions, people think it's the real Sabbath, like Seventh-day Adventist and Judaism. And Saturn day, Saturday, Saturn day. So Saturn worship of Saturn. So even no matter which day you choose for the Sabbath, those days are for worshiping planetary bodies. either way, whatever Sabbath you choose, the Sabbath is not for whatever God you think it's for. It's for the planets. So, that's another thing that always gets me. She's only getting things dug up about her because she agreed with Lana. But my sister said that the video of her live chatting with the KKK members was like from 2 days before. Like that was from this week. Like it's something that she actively does, and she strips for them too. So I don't know if that makes me feel weird. Like I wouldn't cancel Lana Del Rey because it's like obviously she's not racist, you know. But I don't know about canceling Doja Cat, but I'm questioning her authenticity. I'm questioning why she does things like, you know, are you doing things because this is genuinely you, this is your art, or because you're trying to manipulate the internet? Like, I mean, you know, and that's always been a hard thing for me to tell with artists sometimes is the real, is this really authentic of you? Is this authentic art? And I do understand about how it is digging up like things about people's past, because honestly, well, I don't know that I've said anything controversial on the internet before. But, like, I'm pretty sure, I think one time I made a video with this person that I used to be friends with, and we were talking about the difference between white parents and black parents. But it was all jokes and stuff. But I'm sure, like, in that video, I probably said something that probably would have been taken the wrong way. Most people probably wouldn't take it the wrong way, because they're just generalizations. And it was obvious they're generalizations. But I wouldn't make a video like that today just to be safe, because now I understand what generalizations are, and I don't want to make any generalizations about anyone. Plus, I was a teenager. So it's like I think there's definitely specifics in the situation that we have to look at before we just jump into, are we going to cancel someone and stop them from making money? Like, the whole fact that freaking Jeffree Star, his first makeup line was called Lipstick. I can't even say it on you. Whatever, it's not like this video is monetized anyways. Lipstick Nazi, which was his first freaking brand of makeup, and it's like, that rubs me the wrong way. He only changed it later on because it's like, it's not gonna get him money. So it's like, I don't feel like that's like a genuine thing. I don't feel like you're not racist because you changed it now. You know, you could just be doing that just to make yourself look better. People just, I feel like, I don't want to cancel Doja Cat, okay? And like this video is not supposed to be about her, but like I don't want to cancel her. I want to give her a chance to maybe explain herself, I guess, but it does make me feel kind of weird. Like if Lana Del Rey was doing video chats with KKK members, I love her so much. Like I have her albums. I know almost every song Lana Del Rey has written. Like, it's almost an obsession. But if I were to see that she was video chatting with KKK members and like joking with them and saying the N-word and letting them say it and like strip teasing them in a like stereotypical way, I would definitely feel really weird about it, and I wouldn't like it. And it's like when you cling on to things as an influencer, that clings on to your brand. So it's like you really got to be careful about your decisions and like, do I want this to be a part of my brand? Do I want these KK members to be a part of my brand? You know, I have to consider that in everything I do and everything I say. Even with this video right now, as I'm speaking, I have to choose my words very carefully to make sure that I'm getting my point across without saying anything that is like offensive to any other groups. That's why in the beginning when I was talking about the evolution from sun worship to Saturnalia to Kemetan belief system, I used the words belief system instead of calling it Egyptian mythology, because it's offensive to someone who is actually a believer in Kemet. Because I know people who believe in Kemet. So why should I call their belief system a mythology, a story, just because it's not my belief system? It's little things like that. The way you gotta be aware of it. There's so many artists who have spent their whole careers with no problems. Let's see. I really want to thank you guys so much for joining this video.
But it told me that it did not. My account did
I
not.
have no idea how long this has been going. I've just been talking, and honestly, I can go for a little bit longer. I see there's 2 of you still here. If if you're still here, if you have any questions about the talk on modern spirituality or anything, just drop it in the freaking chat, and I'ma hit you back. I kind of want to do this. Honestly, I want to do this every week. This is private. This is a private, unlisted chat. It's an unlisted stream. So if you're not a part of if you don't have this link, you won't be able to see this chat. So this is a safe space for us to really just kind of discuss and say anything without any random trolls coming in or anything like that. Okay, music supporter. I feel there's a borderline between canceling for valid reasons and canceling because they aren't following by your rules or supporting establishment. Yes, exactly. There is a thin line between that. I feel like some people get canceled for the wrong reasons or shouldn't really have been canceled at all, or because they aren't following. Do you feel like Doja Cat wasn't supporting the establishment? I guess she wasn't supporting the general crowd of how everyone was offended about Lana Del Rey. But I feel like Lana Del Rey was just I feel like she gets bullied in the music industry. Everyone, when they talk to her, they're like, Lana Del who? They act like they don't know who she is, or they never heard of her, even though her music is in multiple movies. Artists and comedians and creators are pretty much our only means of free speech. Yeah, exactly. But even that's being taken away, and I don't want to say that sounding like one of those conservative people who are saying oh, these are snowflakes, and we can't just say the racist things we used to. But I do get what you're saying of how it is. You're teetering. You are. It doesn't feel like I don't have free speech, but it does certainly feel like I have to be careful of my speech. You know what I'm saying? I can't just haphazardly say an opinion. I have to make sure that what I'm saying doesn't offend anyone, or that it is objective and just to the point. But it's not that hard. I don't know, Doja Cat will probably get another chance in society, I don't think she's canceled for good. Everyone thought that Cardi B was canceled, and she was not. Everyone really thought Cardi was gonna be gone after raping those. Well, she didn't even rape them. She drugged those dudes, which I don't support. But I still listen to some Cardi B songs. We can't expect all the people who we look up to be these perfect angels. But we also have to know the limit of to say okay, well, this behavior is harmful. This behavior is not right. This is not what I want to represent or encourage. There's a limit. I feel like there can be forgiveness. Oh, see, we agree. Music supporter. I wonder if I know you, because I sent this link to everyone, but you don't have to put your real name or anything. That's weird. It's just, there is a reason for everything. And once we look back at that reason, we'll find that reason was religion. I'm being dramatic, but it's something like that. Who is a person that got canceled that you feel like didn't deserve to be canceled? And has their career been affected long term? Do you see them making new stuff or having the same success as they did before. Oh, okay, I see this. We've been streaming for 44 minutes. Can you answer my question, please? Oh. Fuego, Encendedores. I've been having a good time. Now the guy is here, my fiance. He's getting ready for work. Oh, I'm gonna have to do a whole different live chat about how I feel about work. I'm still doing the live. I thought this. Just come down here, man. The faster you do it, the easier it'll be. We also can't look at everyone that becomes famous as heroes. Yes. Once we do that, we look at them in a light that is not actually them. Exactly. We forget that celebrities are human. Oh wow, it's actually freaking raining. We forget that celebrities are human, like completely 100% human. And they're not like, think about like how many people in your family has beliefs that you don't believe in, but you don't cancel them. You don't say they can't come to the barbecue. Let's see. And I feel that I understand that feeling because like with me, I remember being in high school and like realizing that I had this effect on people to where they would see me like in this light of like goodness, and they would see me as basically like not holy, but just innocent and sweet and almost angelic and just all good. And because of that, when I did do something that was questionable or not what they thought I would do, they would feel like they were let down or like they were lied to, because they believed in a facade that they created of me. Now it's like, we're back, we're reconnected, and make sure. Let me know if you can still hear me. Let me know, let me know, let me know, let me know. Alright, I think it's back. But Tobuscus, he was a gamer, and I have been watching him for literal years. Actual freaking years. And what gets me is I even had one of his merchandise, his t-shirts. And the sad part is that, is the live still happening? The sad part is that
because they believed in a facade that they created of me.
I hope this is still happening. I don't know. I can't tell. I'm not the best at technology, you guys. But basically, I had one of his shirts and everything, and I could have just been a blind believer and just like not have believed it. But after all the stories and I heard all the proof, I heard all the first accounts of him being just horrible to people, touching women inappropriately, showing himself to people at parties, like just doing things that I wouldn't even hang around a person who did in person. Like, you know, like in real life, I wouldn't want to be around a person doing that. I wouldn't want to be around a person who pulls their junk out at a party because they got mad because a girl wouldn't have sex with them. You know, I wouldn't want to be friends with someone who, you know, puts drugs in their ex-girlfriend's drinks, thinking that it's okay, and like, you know, it's just not good. Like, the things that he did were so bad that I could not vouch for him, but it took me a long time to be able to completely just denounce him. And I didn't want to, I did not want to not take the women's statements seriously of what they were saying, because there's nothing worse than a woman who is not believed when she's been wronged, and especially in this male-driven world. So I didn't want to be that person. I really didn't want to do that. And so it's like, because of that, I eventually was able to let go, and I unsubscribed. Like, years later, I unsubscribed. It's like I had already stopped watching him, but like years later, I did unsubscribe. But it's just like, that was a cancellation that I think actually worked, because he wasn't able to meet the same success that he met before. He lost a lot of his followers, because this dude had millions of followers on all of his channels. He lost his deals with the networks and everything like that, because I mean, no one wants an assaulter to be like on their kids' show. But I came to terms with it, and I got out of that groupthink, that religious-based groupthink where you just believe whatever is coming from the mouth of the preacher. And I had to stop believing him. I had to stop believing in him, and believing in the image that I had of him, believing in that facade. So, on that note, I think it's time for me to do our song for the night, and I would close out this discussion with a rendition of the song. It's called Light, and light is an acronym for, oh, I froze for a while. Well, I guess I'm back now if you're typing. I wish it says what time you said that. Well, I'm here. And now we're back. I really hope you guys heard everything I said about Tobuscus. Did you hear what I said about Tobuscus? Let me know, because I'm about to do the song for the night. We've really had a good discussion, and I'm really happy that you guys joined me tonight. This is my first time ever going live like this. I went live before, but it was like, in the moment. This is the first time I've planned a live like this, where, there's a link and I tell people about it. So I'm really liking it, and I like the way it feels, even though you guys can't see me. I'm okay with that. And we can make things work. Actually, what I could have been showing this whole time. This is crazy. So I just realized that I could just be showing the I'll just be showing the thumbnail while I'm talking, so that you guys can at least see that. That would be something nicer. Alright. So, this song that I'm going to do is called Light Mantra. And light is an acronym for levitating, internally, growing, healing with time. And it's basically the actual lyrics of the song. It is a mantra. It's an affirmation of healing and growth and understanding. So I hope that you guys enjoy it, and I hope that you have a beautiful night. This is my song, Light Mantra. soul grows when the wind blows. My soul grows and my aura glows, bright as the signs of time. When the wind blows, what I seek I find. Opulent, decadent, feel the facade caving in. White I want and white I need. Separated by destiny, breaking down to my purest element, healing myself with the power from within. When the wind blows, my soul grows. When the wind blows, my soul grows, and my aura glows, bright as the signs of time. When the wind blows, when the wind blows, what I seek I'll taking time to breathe, knowing the power that's inside of me. It rises with the sun, and at night with the moon I become one, breaking down to my purest element, healing myself with the light from within, from within. My soul grows when the wind blows. My soul grows and my aura glows, bright as the sands of time. When the wind blows, when the wind blows, what I seek I'll find. Release and gain. I am not defined by my pain, no. Release and gain and gain and gain. I am not defined by my pain, no. Release and gain, gain. You are not defined by your pain. Release and gain and gain and gain and gain. You are not defined by your pain. Last time, yes, and gain and gain. We are not defined by our pain. Raise and gain. We are not defined by our pain. Breaking down to my purest element. Oh, healing myself with the light from within, when the wind blows. My soul grows when the wind blows. My soul, it grows, and my eye reflects bright eyes, the signs of time. When the wind blows, what I seek, I'll find. I will find. What I seek, I'll find. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for chatting with me, listening, and just sharing with me. So please come back for next week. You should be getting this link if you're a patron. So if you're not already connected, just make sure that you're connected. Hit me up, message me. Let's talk about what we talked about. And feel free to become a patron if you're not already. Become a patron. It is how I'll be able to get better equipment. I'll be able to get a camera and a mic, and also be able to sustain this lifestyle of a creator. So, if you're looking to see me grow, Patreon is a good way to help ensure that. And also, you can go by SoundCloud and check out my new song that I just recorded 2 nights ago called Crashing Waves. It's also up here on YouTube as a sound video. So go check that out. Be safe. I love you. And I am signing off.